There's only one way to start.
The defenders that have performed at VVD's level is Rio, John Terry, and Vidic. I mean, how long are we going to act like this guy's a top striker, man? Champions League final.
We got to the Champions League final and lost to Liverpool. I'm cool. I've accepted that. I moved on.
Worst week ever as a Spurs fan. I
think the most pertinent issue that we can discuss, and I've said that I'm not.
Guy loves a big word.
That's the dumbest thing you've said on this pod.
Cool
You just
that.
said Spurs are in turmoil. You know you want to say it. Don't let him press you.
Get 20% off all Manscaped products plus free shipping with the promo code STTV.
Boom. Welcome back to another episode of Stoppage Time TV. We're live in the flesh, live and direct in effect. You already know what time it is. Before we go any further, this show is presented by Manscaped. 20% off STTV. You already know what to do. Man said, how's that cologne going up, by the way?
Hey, it's working.
Man boxed it off and didn't bring it back, you know. Props. Man, am I taking props home, you know? Come like retail job back in the day, bro. Man, are taking props home, but still make sure you get 20% off all the good products. Easter's coming and that, you know, get your family some gifts and whatnot. But without further ado, let's go into the main event. As is custom and religion, hold tight the 3-point collectors.
I'm the only 3-point collector.
Like 7 teams.
No, your production.
No, yeah.
Who's that?
Who you are.
The masked man. The masked man and that.
I'm the only 3-point collector, yeah. But to be honest, you know, yeah, we move. Let's go.
Hold tight the 3-point collectors. Hold tight the participants. Hold tight the teams that have lost 5 and 6. Hold tight the teams that have lost 4 home games in a row. Hold tight the teams that are losing derby games. Hold tight, hold tight the hold tights, isn't it? Oh, hold tight the man them. Hold tight the people crowning themselves. I feel like this week I've seen a lot of people like elevating themselves into importance. So, but we'll get into that later. Let's start with Spurs very briefly. Then we'll go into Liverpool, and then let's touch on the new gem because obviously this week a lot's been bubbling. But Spurs, do you want to produce me?
Yeah.
I saw it off key. You know what I just saw? My cousin got Cypriot flag in his bio. I saw I texted him, are you half Cypriot, bro?
This guy's so dumb, bro. Bro, what's going on with the production, fam? Man, for this is back chat, bro. Man said we're talking about Cypriot and that. But yeah, let's go into Spurs, and there's a lot that can be discussed, but we've discussed a lot already, and obviously we don't like to beat the same drum. It's about looking at different things, different conversation and whatnot. Of course, it is what it is. It's 5 losses in 6, if I'm right.
Real ugly. Right
it now. Was a. I saw a few interesting things in the on lineup. So obviously, shout out Tobbs. He was like, "This is like a cup final sort of game," to which some Spurs fans gave him stick. I saw other Spurs fans asking, "Do West Ham have a better team than us?" Which I thought that's interesting. And then post-game, which I think is probably the most key takeaway, was when Mourinho was asked about his coaching methodology and everything, his response was, I'm second to none in the world. I'm second to none. There's been a lot of
self-belief.
This ain't 04.
Confidence.
That it doesn't work no more.
Okay, so
you don't have the same swagger.
So
You know what I mean?
let's open it up, because my whole thing is 2 things can coexist. We've said that the team's not good enough, but this stretch of form and run is below standards. Even if we're saying Spurs are not a big team, this is not good. So I know you have Jose thoughts. I know you have thoughts on both situations. What do you think about the comment?
As I said, fam, listen, in high school you were the man, fam. You know what I mean?
Damn, homie.
Yeah, bro. Like in high school, maybe that was cool when you were like, you know, the special one, and now you're saying I'm second to none. But you know, before back then, it had the arrogance and the swagger, and you were the European champion, and you were.
Yeah, it happened during thing.
So yeah, you had you know the swagger and the. Yeah, I mean, he just come as European champion. That's why he said, I'm not one of the bottle. Or I don't even know what that means, by the way, one of the bottle. But when he said that, you're like, okay, yeah. But now it's always all these moments of arrogance and stuff come in distress. Remember, respect, man. Respect, distress. Distress. Heritage. And it's just kind of like, he's just rattled now. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I just got Tottenham's first 12 Premier League games this season, win 7, draw 4, lost 1. They were first in the table. Tottenham's next 12 Premier League games, win 3, draw 2, lost 7. 7 of your last 12 Premier League games you've lost, and you're now sitting 9th in the table.
That's 5 and 6 as well.
I'm sorry, this is beyond poor, and it's, for me, like, we can talk about the players and that, but it does not equate to 7 losses in 12 games.
What's your report?
And
My
9th
thing-
place?
My thing on that is I would agree in the sense of I feel like those players, I've said many a times, are not up to level. But I feel like at the start of the season, where his coaching was being talked about, it's working. Oh, Jose's looking like he's back. Like, things looked like they were in place when these players were playing up to scratch. I feel like their true quality eventually comes out. The issue I have now, especially even with this game, is when you know some of these players have not given you enough, especially over the last 2 months, you're still selecting them. You're still starting them. Like Davinson Sanchez and I, you said before the game, like Reguilon is back, but you see those two line up and immediately I knew it's a long day.
Yeah.
So I think to myself, you're killing yourself there when you select them, because you're saying, I trust these guys and I'm putting them in position because I think, but if you've seen what we've seen over the last couple months, you can't still be playing them week in, week out. That's where it's like you have to die on the hill you kind of sleep on.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where he's kind of fucking up now. And
Do you know
to
that,
the end of the
that one's
season,
interesting though, because I'm sure you've seen that United. I think there was some time he didn't do as much at Chelsea. Definitely at United, where it was almost as if he did things as a demonstration to the board. I don't know whether it's because this would be kind of way too early in the season to do that. But if you're saying that these guys shouldn't be playing, and you feel you have suitable options, why wouldn't he play those other options? Is he possibly doing this because he's saying, you know what? If you don't believe that this squad is poor, you're going to see this to the end of the season and then you're going to have to invest. I'm just throwing it out there.
I truly think he's like that. Because if he's going to show you how bad this squad really is. So he might let them suffer for the next couple weeks and be like, do you know what? I'm only going to pattern it up for the Europa League type of thing. I'm just going to throw away the league type of situation. For me, it's if you're going to choose to completely throw away the league, you can't. We've still got to have something to play for. Whether it even that be similar to like last year. We was 14th. He came in and actually turned around with a worse probably group of players. So it's like, you got them to Europa League. Let me see that during the second half of the season. For me, it'll be interesting because I said, this squad I feel like is lacking goals outside of Kane and Son. How are you going to reincorporate Dele Alli now? Because he's come off the bench a couple of times. He's looked decent. Gareth Bale, probably the best Spurs performance I've seen him this season. So for me, it's like, those are kind of small moments where I just think to myself, do you know what? That will be a credit to his coaching as well if he can get more out of Bale. I feel like if you can incorporate Bale, Dele, Vinicius, even the fact that he's kind of gone MIA out of the picture, he's meant to be the backup striker we always wanted. It's like, come on.
How many league goals has Vinicius got?
I'm not even sure. I think he's got 1. Is it 1? I think he's got 1 league goal probably.
Do you know what I
find?
find?
Kind of coming Europa League and 100%.
That's a
I
poor
agree,
use of your squad. Like when you
Go on, after you.
You look at Jose Mourinho now has the lowest league win percentage of any manager since Juande Ramos.
Wouldn't surprise me.
That he does have.
Surprise me, bro.
It's a
Wouldn't
fact.
surprise me.
These are the facts.
Yeah, this is the
The
fact,
Sherwoods and ABBs,
Yeah,
it's feeling like them kind of
Yeah,
era.
he's got the worst win
So
record.
you see that point there, yeah? I want to elaborate
doing it-
something because I feel like sometimes when we talk here, people don't take it on a high level. They don't really think what we're saying. So a few weeks ago, I kind of alluded to the fact that I feel like Spurs have signed a deal with the devil in the sense that when you're signing someone like Jose Mourinho, you're kind of saying, you know what, whatever it takes for you to do what you need to do, we're going to believe in it. You're still in the cup final. Europa's still there. So there's still sort of like the silver lining there. But what you then have to address is the list you mentioned now. And I'm going to relate this into Liverpool, but I'll stick on this now. If Juande Ramos had this form, he would have been fired. If AVB had this form, he would have been fired. If any other previous Spurs manager had this form, they would have been fired. The reason why Jose is not getting fired is because as the person he is, even though you may think he's washed and people feel like he's past it, he still has that legacy, that stock of, you know what, I have done this before. And that's what he's, and that's buying him a lot of time. Because you have to be real. This form he's in, if he was
It's worse than the form that got poached.
also
if he was in any other club, bro, if he was still at Chelsea, he would have been sacked. If he was at Man United, he would have been sacked. If he was at Inter, he would have been sacked. So what's happening here is...
Bro, it's also the manner in which we signed that deal. It's how we had it with Pochettino, going along, following expectations. You chose to sack him and chose to get into bed with Mourinho.
It's as you lay your bed, you lie in it. And what's happening now is The fans are going to be disgruntled by it. The board are thinking, you know what? Listen, we have to cash in. We have to make sure we get it. And the big question now is, if you don't get it, what then happens? Because I don't understand how players will want to come to a situation with the whole Jose thing like that. I don't know how Harry Kane definitely wants to stay. It becomes a bigger.
I think Jose is
fish.
one of the reasons why Kane and Son have even stayed. I think Jose
Of course,
is
this
why
season.
even Reguilon we signed in the summer. Like, I think Jose would be another reason why Ndom would stay, or the Viral signed the new deal. I still think Jose has some allure. Let's not act like
I think
No,
it's a
I'm not
complete
the allure.
and I get that, what you're saying in the sense of like, where does it go if you don't get Europa League? For me, it's back to what I said last year. It's Operation Get Your First 11 right. You're playing one game a week now. You actually might be at an advantage. I would say having one season without Europe is not always the be-all and end-all. Sometimes it could be a blessing in disguise. It can clearly show you what is wrong with this club now. 3 seasons, we've completely collapsed at kind of like the post-Christmas period. And it's like, there's a common denominator here. And it's the same players from when Poch was here. The same players from when we failed in the Champions League. So it's like, let's get the common denominator right for me first before we kind of lay it all. I feel like blaming it on Jose would be the easy scapegoat target.
100%.
And you're kind of giving the board the pass. You're giving the players the pass because the players will have a 2-month bump when the new manager comes in. Nagelsmann comes in, Winks will look class. Aurier will look class. Dyer will have a little purple patch. Man will be like, yo, we can get by, and Levy, as usual, will be like penny pinching. Be like, nah, these men will get us through another season. December comes round, same story happens again. So for me, that's why I'm like, you've made your bed, lie in it. Put your money where your mouth is. And even putting your money where your mouth is not, I'm not expecting to do an Abramovich 200 million rehaul.
But sign what you need.
Sign what you need to sign. Address what you need to address. We tried it last summer. It didn't quite work. Go again.
But that's the thing. But with what you're saying, I understand what you're saying. But the thing is, we're asking for it from a manager that we haven't seen that side to him. So the way you're talking about Mourinho's legacy is of winning. That's fine. But now I've never seen Mourinho's legacy of rebuilding a whole squad and just turning them around and then doing a job for multiple years. So now we're asking things that we don't even know Jose can do. So as much as we can talk about he's a winner and his legacy is this is a new legacy. This is the new Jose.
But
this is a new Jose. This isn't
completely
Jose
mad to rule
Mourinho
it out,
of Chelsea days and
Considering what he's done in everything in the game, is it mad to rule it out? And I understand you say it's a situation of the 3-year thing, but in the 3-year thing, that's when he's at the bigger clubs. This isn't the same situation, if that makes sense. So maybe he does need that little bit more time to rebuild, if that makes sense.
You are right.
He walked into a rebuild as well. Let's not talk about. Poch was saying, I need new guys.
You're right.
It was a comfort,
you're right.
I just think Jose just wanted to get. Remember, he was crying in the new. He was crying. I miss football and all that.
Walking around London with his dog.
Yeah, like I genuinely think the way we talk about.
Sky Sports catch it off guard.
Yeah.
I'm just walking the dog.
Remember how we were talking about David Luiz only went to Arsenal because he was staying. I genuinely think the guy said back in the day. The guy literally said back in the day. Like, what did he say? I would never join Spurs or something. And he's at Spurs.
But he said a lot. To round this up, he said a lot of stuff. He said a lot of stuff.
We're kind of the begging club and coming to him because Daniel Levy's been saying he's after him since 2004. So you've been chasing a man who's been curving you, publicly telling you he don't want you, and eventually now you're just having kind of like the sloppy seconds when he's in his later years. It's cool. You made your bed, now lie in it.
The only reason why I think that Jose, bro, sorry, Fake Maze, but it's only because this is Jose's last. This is his last hurrah, mate. If this doesn't work out, sabbatical, go and try and take over my man at Portugal or something, and just ghost into the sunlight. Because I'm telling you now, bro, why are we acting like we haven't seen managers fall off before? I feel like we're hanging on because it's Jose. And I've seen managers fall off though. Have you seen managers?
Goals we conceded today, for example, again, individual errors.
I don't think it's not. I don't think it's just about today. I hear what you're saying.
Especially in the last couple games, I don't think even Spurs fans, the most Jose out guys, could point the finger at Jose because there's so many individual errors where you can clearly see it's A, B, C, or D has not done the basics there. But that's the reason why we're conceding. So it's like but that's what costs you football games. You've said it before last week or the week before. Games you are won by 1 goal sometimes. That 1 goal, you can see that early on. It's a wrap. 5 minutes.
Tell you what, sorry, bro. To summarize, what you said here is interesting because you're saying it's a new lease of Jose. So therefore, if it's a new lease, you can't take into account the old credit. He has to be judged on performance. So you're not thinking about the old strategy he has. Therefore, if this
Here's the thing.
continues, it looks a bit precarious. For him.
Europa
It looks a bit
League is
dangerous.
definitely a big judge this season or our season. It's definitely make or break for our season. It could be make or break for the next year or two.
So
even
if
at
he
the club.
doesn't get top 4, which he's not,
It's Europa.
Probably
It's
not.
Europa or bust.
and if he doesn't get Europa, and we expect, football's crazy, but we expect City to win the League Cup. Let's say, what are we saying? No Europe, no trophy, nothing.
We'll get to that bridge when we
Eighth
get
place. What? So what's not finishing in Europe? That's if you finish under 7th.
there. 7th or below.
So
basically.
7th. So if he finishes 8th to 10th.
Yeah,
What?
so
5th to
7th.
6th get Europa,
So
7th get
so
below,
yeah,
basically.
he's
Don't
right.
get it.
7th.
Yeah. So 8th and below, right? So 7th and below. Sorry, 7th and below. If he
That's what he
if
said.
if he's 7th and below,
Semi-final in the Europa and a final of the Carabao.
you keep him. What if you don't win nothing and you
Remember,
finish outside
as you
Europe?
make it a bit different.
Would you start?
Here's
Would
my
you start?
thing.
Would you at that point start saying maybe? Yeah, because let's be honest.
My
you
thing
guys
is,
have got two starters. You
regardless
guys have
of-
got 2 assets.
Regardless of, I think if we have a deep run, i.e., get to the final of the Europa, regardless, you let him see out next year. In the sense of you get rid of the deadwood in the summer. You see how the start goes next season. Up until Christmas is kind of the judging period of.
All right.
Now
Now,
you've had like a good solid 2 years to fully turn the squad around.
I don't
You've had
agree
2 or
there
3
still.
windows. And for me, I understand that. Listen, the squad right now, if you lot think this Spurs squad deserves to be top 4 guaranteed or top 6, I
Nah,
truly
not
am.
top 4.
The
You-
more the season goes on, I'm like, brother, I don't know how we thought we
the
were
thing
top 4.
it's gonna be a battle, no matter what. It was always gonna be a battle. It was never gonna be.
Leicester,
There was
we're
there was
nowhere
a
near
point. There was
them.
a
United.
point where people were going on like Spurs with the dead
win them.
cert, and everyone else is scrapping
And-
around.
but that's
them.
the purple
But
patch,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
telling
yeah.
you.
No, what I'm
That's the
saying, but what I'm saying is, it was always gonna be a scrap. But no one else is a team that is like very consistent or anything. So that's why it's the same thing when I talk about Arsenal. There's no reason why with good coaching and getting results that you couldn't be in and around. As we said all the time, it takes 3 wins and you're all of a sudden you're having a pretty season. But I just think if it gets to a point where you guys don't win no trophies this season, League Cup, I'm not even counting personally because one day Ramos won that, mate. Like,
It's
I mean,
more of
it's
just
been-
a check.
Yes,
in the
exactly.
silver draft,
So
let's be
Europa
honest, yeah.
League, if you don't win the Europa League and you don't get into Europe, I think he's got to go, mate. And you look at your 2 starlets. You've got Son and got
Is he
Kane.
realistically
When is
gonna do
Son's
it?
contract coming up next
Bro,
summer?
I've said it's.
Is he gonna sign?
2 years he's got left. In
Harry
this summer.
Kane
3
is
years.
Harry Kane's gonna go off to the Euros, playing with Raheem Sterling, all these guys who have won trophies. Henderson, all these, they're all winners, and they're like, I'm the captain of these, man,
Facts.
and I'm not even in Europe.
They don't
I
even
need to
respect me.
leave, bro.
Yeah.
I need to leave. So it's gonna come to a point where is Kane gonna start questioning? Because we're talking about, is Jose gonna say? Is Kane gonna start saying, hold on, agent, yo, what's going on? Son, he's already starting to
Kane,
do them
bro.
Cristiano Ronaldo kind of cryptic.
Yes.
You know, we'll talk
we
at the
saw
end of
that
the
this
season.
week. Yeah, we saw that this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking you don't get too big for your boots. Though,
I'll be
but
very
fair enough.
surprised. I'll be
Are
very
you mad? He will
surprised.
be in demand.
I'll be very
This guy is
surprised
drunk.
if Harry Kane doesn't have some sort of clause or trigger somewhere. Because he was talking about if I don't.
I don't
win
think he
anything-
would, man.
No, but he
That
was
nigga-
talking.
that guy's probably
no,
got
no,
some
no,
loyalty
no, no,
one
goals,
second.
bruh.
He was talking about what year was it? We were saying if I don't win anything by 2020.
That was 4 years ago, I think. He said when he was talking to Henri.
Yeah,
innit?
but players say things like that when they're
No,
in
no, but
conversation
here,
with the
it
greats
wouldn't
all
like
the
this
time.
is
you know them
this
ones
is
Trying to beg
you're
Henri
saying
and them,
about
yeah?
the Henri. He's
This is-
telling you about, yeah, we did the Invincibles. You got to tell him you got to win
This is-
silverware. Come on.
this is
but the thing is, I
someone
would say
that is
for
like
me, I think he's still
at that
close to
level.
Jimmy Greaves' record. He's still not the club captain. I still think he's got a few
Greaves,
check
right.
boxes. And then with Son,
tell me-
for me,
I would've been
Son is the
tripping if you said about Jimmy
128.
Greaves.
But what do you mean? What did you say? What did he say?
He said, but so what? There's nothing worse when people are laughing and you don't know the joke.
I have no clue
No,
what
he said you're talking about trophies and you're talking about Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah, but I'm
know
saying
what you're
reasons
saying,
as to
but
I
why
hear what
he's
you're
staying
saying,
on.
but
The
it's
way he said it was
like
funny
what
still.
talking about.
The way he said it was
I know,
in the
bro.
character.
I've said
You're talking
myself,
practice.
bro. I've said myself, Kane and Son should realistically leave
Yeah.
over the next year or two. Their contracts are coming up. It's like they got 2 years left and they're going to be what 30.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it's a realistic option.
No,
That's not,
I get.
What
Only
you're
thing is,
saying, I hear
I
you.
get what you're saying. Is
like,
he
I
gonna?
think
Is he
Son
gonna
is
try
going to
and-
be the one to leave first for me. I just don't see Kane as the first one
No,
because
hey,
he's
okay.
more
The
loyal to the
loyalty
club.
that Son-
He's got
Son of
more.
the soil and
Son,
everything.
it's like he's 1 year
Hey.
older. His contract finishes 1 year sooner. It just makes sense.
No,
for him
I
to be-
think-
and I don't think we're going to sell both in the same summer.
I get what you're saying, but okay, none of us
Both
know
could fund a
Harry.
new squad for you.
None
I'll
of
just
us.
put it out there.
None of us know.
This ain't FM, bro.
None of
Come
us
on.
know. We don't know Harry Kane personally, so we can't talk that we know him personally. But I think Harry Kane cares more about, you know what? Not about. He cares about trophies, but I'm saying, you know how you mentioned the Jimmy Greaves thing. I think he cares more about like
individual accolades.
Nah, not even that. I think he cares more about I want to be the Premier League's all-time scorer.
Yes.
I don't. But that means
But he
might
could still
move to
do that in
another
the Premier League,
club.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I
Liverpool
mean.
and
That's-
City could
this
still.
is what
That's where
I'm
I
saying.
feel like
Yeah.
them two. They're looking at their squads. They're crying for a striker. They easily could
You
go
know,
on
yeah,
over the next year.
this is a conversation for another time, yeah. But
It's worrying.
Harry
times. I'll be
Kane,
worried.
Harry Kane's sort of
100%.
destinations. If you think about it, he's quality,
Yo.
but his destinations in terms of how he is, his age and everything.
It's gonna be tough. Reguilon, all of a sudden he's thinking, I didn't sign up.
I didn't sign up for Kane and
He's
Son
gonna be
to
like,
be
I
here."
need to left back little thing up back in Real
Brother.
Madrid. And Dom, let's not act like he wasn't trying to flirt with Barcelona.
Bro,
like,
listen.
I'll be worried if I was a Spurs fan, but
But I think all that happens, you get rid of Jose, them man are like, why am I here?
Boy.
That could be one of the reasons I feel like
I heard
where
it.
the big guys just think, do you know what? That was the final nail. I'm not here for a new manager or a new project or anything like that. That's my concern.
You know what? If you want more Spurs talk, SCV,
Bro,
go
Kane
check
and
it
Son,
out.
I even touched on that this week. So.
oh, you done a video, yeah?
Yeah.
You released it?
Nah, drop them tomorrow.
Say no.
But
9 a.m. Truly scheduled, don't worry.
what's my last
I like that.
Let's go.
Same time as this. Watch this. Watch Spurs right
man.
after this.
Let's briefly talk on Liverpool. Like I mentioned at the top, that's 4 back-to-back home losses, I believe, after kind of not having that for so long. For me, again, I mentioned the Mourinho sort of quote. The interesting quote for me that came out of this was Jamie Carragher saying, listen, we have to stop saying Van Dijk. These guys are not hitting the barn door. Like, we can't keep using Van Dijk as an excuse, which is kind of, for me, sort of realization when you're looking for hope and these people are trying to do something, they'll just realize, you know what, okay, we're not at the level, nothing's going to change quickly, and we need to accept our fate. So instead of dwelling on what's going on now, let's look at the situation. Liverpool are battling for top 4, right? And then a situation where they're in free fall, they can't, like, that was the first time in 22 years Everton won at their actual, that's Everton's old stadium, innit?
That's big.
That's their stadium. So they came home. What did you tweet? Pickford came and said, "What? No one's touching me."
Bro, get your money back. Oh no, I didn't hit. You know what I mean, fam? Trust me.
in the crowd as well.
No, I didn't. Was VVD in the
VVD
crowd?
in the crowd.
In the
Bro,
stands, V.
the whole time, them man put money
They
on his
must,
head, bro. He come back to them and got man of the match.
Man said
Clean
that.
sheet.
Man, the chippy
Come on,
hashtag.
bro.
I'm still alive, not dead. You
Banging
know.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. But they try to say Pickford's not from the hood. Come on, he's out here, bro. He's there. Bro, you know what I'm saying? He's out here,
Oh
bro.
shit.
He's there.
But if we look at what's going on, we know FSG don't spend. For Liverpool going forward, if they want to come back to compete with City, what needs to be done? People are talking about you probably need to cash in on the front three. People are talking about how do they sort of the aging squad. What happens with Liverpool from now? First and foremost, do we think they can make top 4?
They can make it.
Or do we? No, as in like in your prediction, do you think they're going to? Not can they make it? Do you think
Yeah.
they're going to?
I think they will. I think there's definitely a purple patch of form still left in Liverpool.
I hear you. What's your opinion?
And I think
Personally-
Chelsea and West Ham and Leicester,
I
there's
think
inconsistencies
Leicester
in
are
all of them.
impressing me, man. I think Leicester, they've over that slip, you know. I think they're over that slip that they had last season.
Even
Man
this
United
season
at the
they've had
moment,
weird
we
results,
just Man United. You see, the thing about Man United is that we rectify our errors quick. Like we.
If you lose, you win the next game.
Yeah,
ASAP.
okay, we're out of the title race, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, but Man United are weird, bro. We're just I can't
That's it, we're
explain
just
it.
floating.
But I can't explain
We're
it.
vibes.
Honestly, like I don't know if we're gonna go through what everyone else goes through. We only won. This is our second win in 7 games, but everyone else is fucking about. Yeah, I'm trying to say. So I don't really know. I don't want to say Man United and Leicester are dead certs, but I just can't see Liverpool not finishing top 4.
Do you know how I see it? Yeah.
They'll just be mad
For
if they
Liverpool to
don't.
finish top 4, they have to, because we're expecting everyone to maybe lose a game, everything. They have to perform better than everyone else. So it's not that
the
they're
problem.
the same. They have to perform better, as in better results. Leicester are still managing to do well, but I still feel like Leicester have a lot of injuries there. Chelsea's whole thing is Chelsea are getting there, but there's still this thing about the forwards are not finishing how they need to finish. Hence why the whole Southampton game happened. So Liverpool could get there with the help of others. I just don't know if they can get there solely based
What's
on
the point
themselves.
tally right now? They're 9 points off United and Leicester. I know that. And there might be a point where...
And like I've been saying for probably about 6 weeks, Everton fluffed it a few times. But Everton had those games in hand and they're still there.
Yeah, what is it looking like?
They're 5 points off.
5 points off.
Yeah.
I mean, Liverpool can make 5 points off West Ham.
5 points off West Ham, yeah.
Like,
I expect West Ham at some
United are
point.
second and third.
At
49.
some point you would
9
expect
points.
West Ham
I'm sorry,
to drop off.
West Ham, Chelsea, Everton, Villa, Spurs. I don't think any of them will be.
Not Spurs, mate. You're
Yeah,
ninth.
them man. I'm sorry, I'm not more. Will not have a more consistent purple patch. I don't
Yeah.
think than Liverpool. I think Liverpool have more quality overall and still have quality to come
but
back.
this is what I'm saying. For me, it depends on. I feel like
Who's the quality to come back?
Well, Fabinho, Van Dijk,
Van Dijk's not coming back.
even Joe Gomez, if he comes back at some point this season, it'll be an improvement on what they currently have.
If they come back, they'll be coming back for like
I'll be
3
honest.
games?
I'll be
or
honest.
something? 3,
If
5?
I'm Liverpool, and
Is
this
Van
is what
Dijk done shut down for the season?
that's what.
If I was him, if
let's
I
be
was them,
real.
I'd
Why are
back
you
him in
coming
quite a
back?
wall, bro.
Why are you coming
Try
back?
aim for the Euros. Why are you trying?
Why are
to
you
come
coming back?
Euros,
Why are you Why are you coming back?
They could still be in the Champions League.
No, but that's what Harry Kane
Top
did.
4 up for
And
grabs.
what happened? Why are you coming back? Like at this point, and remember, it's thick and fast right now. This ain't like a normal year. Why are you coming back? You've had all of these injuries.
I would still try.
The juice ain't there anymore. You're gonna come
It's-
back.
it's-
and then
the
everyone
thing
will
is,
come.
it's
needs
about
something.
when he comes back.
And I feel like
if he
he's
does.
kind of like their spiritual leader almost. Even if Hendo's the armband wearing guy,
He's even
he's
got
the
injured.
kind of
Hendo's
guy.
injured now.
Even Hendo's injured now. He went off hamstring, was it? So it's like.
But let's speak on the front three. Let's speak on the front three.
That's
What do you do?
3 of their main centre backs though, and their 2 main DMs who was covering that centre back.
Yeah,
Like,
they've got the injuries.
That is
It's just
a
about-
crisis, bro.
Are these guys gonna come
if
back?
If that was
though?
at Chelsea right now or United or Spurs, same thing, bro. We're all talking here saying crisis, crisis, crisis. It's like this is an actual crisis.
Are they gonna come back though? That's the thing, and change their season. I don't know.
those are
There might
big
be a
injuries,
point,
you know?
just like how you just spoke about Spurs and Europa. They might just think, you know what, we're gonna go through Leipzig. Let's try to win the Champions League, and they might even just start. Not, I don't want to say throwing away the league, but the interest all of a sudden is Champions
The
League.
only issue I have with the Champions League this year is they don't have that Anfield behind them as the same previous years. They don't have that same this is European
The
nights.
fans throwing
that
eggs
magic
at the,
ain't there,
at the
so-
coaches before the game.
Bro, I'm telling you,
Throwing confetti and
Atletico last year bopped them quick time, and that was with
Listen,
fans as well.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
this front three.
With fans.
So the conversation is: do you break them up? If you break them up, who needs to go? Everything.
Yes, I think this is finally the year where you say thank you, Firmino, for everything you've done. We appreciate you was like the glue man and the trifecta, but
It
it's
was
time to move.
always massively overstated, in my
And
opinion.
and the thing is, his time will be remembered by Liverpool fans as like, yo, he played a part, but leave now while your stock is high. And I think
So they're forced about
brother,
to leave.
No,
I said
no,
leave.
but it's like Wijnaldum's gonna leave as well on a free, more than likely.
Yeah,
so
Wijnaldum's
it's like
leaving.
it's a time where I think that kind of era of Liverpool. Cool, we done our thing for 4 years. There's certain man where you just move before you get ahead of the curve. I think Salah and Mane, they've still got a lot to offer, and who's gonna pay that ridiculous fee? I think you said last week.
It's for me.
Whereas
it's
Firmino, I
pandemic.
think, is the more palatable one you could kind of sell.
What
off
do
the
you
free.
get out of Firmino? 30 mil?
Don't piss me off, bro.
Wait,
You're
what?
getting-
How much you getting out of Firmino?
You think if Richarlison's going for 50, he ain't going for 50 minimum?
But bro,
50,
wait,
brother.
bro,
Firmino.
wait. Let's pause. Wait,
Whoa,
one second. One second.
You buying in
One
potential,
second.
you know, for regardless.
they're
regardless
paying,
of
they're
you buying
paying
potential.
38 million for Joe Linton.
1 second. 1 second. But this is what you need.
Firmino's how old?
This is what you need to bear in mind, bro.
Bro,
we are
he's 29.
in a pandemic. Like
You might
I
be
don't
paying
feel
50
that.
million for 29 Firmino.
Bro,
29 million.
I think
for
there's-
29 years old
I
Firmino.
think there's, I'm not saying I
Boy,
will. I'm
6
saying
goals
there's
in the
clubs
club.
I think
What
dumb enough.
club? What clubs are
Brother,
going to do that?
don't ask me. There's clubs out there that I think that
No,
are
no,
dumb
thing
no,
is,
enough.
yeah,
wait.
You
when
don't
we-
think there's clubs that will buy Firmino?
listen.
I think the best bet for Liverpool to do is put Firmino potentially like take away his importance in the club,
In the
potentially
9
just
role.
and maybe drop into the sub or whatever, than thinking you're gonna get some nice bit of dosh for him. No, wait, what?
You gotta remember,
well,
when you
okay,
sell,
maybe not
yeah.
50 million, but sell him.
No,
I
but-
would say, and
No,
that
50
cover that
million is
hole.
not unrealistic.
I think
But
40
hear what I'm saying.
40
Hear what I'm
million.
saying.
45 will
Hear
be
what-
the minimum.
hear what
I
I'm
think
saying.
Liverpool
Hear what I'm
would
saying.
accept
When
it.
you're
50
selling-
50 for Kovacic.
Hear what I'm saying. When
Kovacic
you're
is 8.
listen,
How old is Kovacic when you bought him?
when
No,
you're
I
selling,
think
when you're
for
selling
what
these
he's
players,
done,
yeah,
it's almost like the stock in the bank thing.
yeah, but we have to. The thing is, yeah, you see, when you do stuff like this, yeah, you have to put into context. When a club
gotta
like
stop
Liverpool
treating Firmino
is
like
selling,
he's Willian
no,
or
hear
one
what
of
I'm
these
saying. When a club
Moras.
like
much. He's
Liverpool,
techie,
yeah,
bro.
is selling a forward, yeah, who are the typical South suitors? If they're not the lower teams, the teams that are lower than you, it's going to be your Barcelona, Madrid, who else?
Bruv, I could even see Bayern taking a fucking punt on him and saying,
Oh,
yo, do you
yeah,
know what?
right.
Not
That,
me.
bro, Bayern love that. The James Rodriguez, Coutinho gamble.
Yeah,
Why
on
they
loan,
say he
on
played-
loan,
the
on
fact that he
loan. They
played-
like them on loan. Don't forget that. They like them on loan.
Bayern
as
Munich
well.
can go to
Hey.
how many teams and pick up their
RB Leipzig
players
wouldn't
for
pay that.
free? So why would you then
50,
spend
bro.
50 mil?
They got
on
Yusuf
Firmino?
Poulsen or whatever his name is up front now. Come on.
Bruv, listen,
man.
the thing why I'm laughing is because Firmino, had become this rare breed 9 that only suits for Salah and Mane. That's what he became, like this rare breed that doesn't need to score goals, just link it up and make a little off the ball run, and Mane will come into that role.
Lacazette and Martial copying.
What are you gonna go, bro? Are you gonna go to another team and have this fake false 9 like clever role in another team? I don't think you are.
No,
Any other team that he's gonna go to, they're gonna look at his goal scoring record and think, do you score goals? No, you don't score goals. I'm not paying 50 million for somebody that's gonna try and adapt this Liverpool system false 9. Like
50 million for layups.
I don't like.
Even PSG, Icardi hasn't worked out. I can see them trying to replace him. Maybe
They can get Moise Kean for 80 million.
Bro,
Like, this is what I'm saying.
they
Like,
want
you have to
Messi, bro.
remember. And the thing is,
put it this way. I think
we're
there's a
going
market
into another
for
topic
Firmino,
about the
and
new
he's
era
main
as well.
one.
And the new era guys, like there's some that here, there's some that here. Like I just feel like when we're saying this, I hear what you're saying, but you have to put into context. One, the market. Two, the sort of clubs that will buy off Liverpool. Because think about it, if you're at that level,
You lot spent
you have
220
to
million
go
this
higher.
market,
On what?
You lot spent 220 million on this market. You keep saying no one's
That was
spending.
before. This was last. That was last. That was
Brother,
before
that was
this.
this summer just gone.
No,
man.
that
It
was
the
before-
same COVID market.
No, it was
It
before
was the same
this.
Liverpool
You
COVID
think
champions.
we
This
spend 20 mil now?
Same time,
You think we
man.
spend 20 mil now?
Brother, I'm saying.
No way.
Bro,
Oh, Chelsea got. Well, we got
I
the
can see
piece.
it,
We've got.
Abramovich
in fact,
saying, yo,
we've got the
run
piece.
that back, Turbo.
We've actually got the piece. How many other teams are gonna go? You know what? Yeah. What 20? What 29? Ah, you know what? 50, 60. I don't feel it's realistic.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah.
I
You know what it is,
realistic.
yeah. When you
I
look
just
at
think he's the most feasible.
How much? Wait,
Yeah,
how
no,
much?
no, no.
Haaland?
Am I right?
In my opinion,
Haaland's buyout clause is how much?
who's
75.
75.
75.
But
So if you're gonna pay 50 for
Dortmund
me
are
for
done
extra
for that.
25,
I'm sorry, Dortmund are done for
man.
that. They've knocked themselves for that.
You know what? When you look at the front three, I agree with you. Firmino is
But that's who
definitely
you go after, by the way.
Firmino is who?
Haaland.
Oh yeah, Firmino is
Firmino out,
definitely
Haaland in.
the one where it's like, all right, you're the one that's the most easily replaceable, 100%. I don't want to hear about his off the ball movement and all that type of stuff. But let's be realistic. As we're talking about the money. 50 million might not. It's not going to really. How much is that going to do for Liverpool? We're talking about if it's something that's going to make them kind of go on a rebuild, kind of. And the two assets are Mane and Salah. So if they are going to have to cash in on someone, you would probably think they're going to try and generate money off one of them two. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't sell them. I wouldn't. But I'm thinking that if they're going to, it might have to be someone like Salah, because he's even the way he speaks in the media and stuff. He's got ambition. He wants to go and play. It's clear he wants to go on and do something else as
Madrid
well.
have apparently scrapped Project Youth as well, and they're looking to go Galacticos Part 3.
Apparently, Perez is going to do a clear out and go mad. So he might be one of them ones that think to himself, you know what, I want to go and do this. I swear, I think he'll be the first Egyptian to play for the club or something like that.
That's some iconic shit you want to do, bro.
Exactly. So, bro, if there was any of the three that I look at and I think he might be the one to go, it might be Salah, but
Son.
it's just about how much are you going to generate off him?
Tell
How
me
much?
I'm
Who's going to pay?
Son's not a Galactical.
Yeah.
What?
No, of
Salah,
course not.
Son, Hazard. You can't see.
Safe, please.
Hey, get me my Madrid.
has Benzema retired or what's going on there? Man, I just what?
What is
Where
that?
you sending them
Premier
to?
League rejects is happening.
Getting paid.
No, not Salah. But now, in all honesty, when you look at it, if I'm a club outside of the world, and I look at them front three, and I want to take one of them, it'll be Salah. But who's gonna pay that? As
Salah's the most marketable, I would say, but Firmino's the one most feasible.
Yeah,
Firmino and a couple, maybe a Shaqiri. You sell them, go all in on Haaland, man.
But what do you? But like we're saying all of this, yeah. But like we're saying all these about the injuries and stuff. But I was listening to someone. I can't remember who it was. It was a commentator, and it was a good point. Like it was Lee Dixon actually. He was like, with all these injuries that Liverpool have got going on, why doesn't anyone ever just look at Klopp and be like, do you know what? Liverpool have two centre backs that are out injured. Why does he still have Trent and Firmino basically playing as wide wingers? Like, tuck them in. Tell them you're going to have to defend these games. We've got, who did I say? Sorry, Robertson, Firmino and, I keep saying Firmino, Trent and Robbo.
The fullbacks.
Why don't you tuck them in and tell them, listen, I'm sorry guys, you guys, they're not the greatest defenders, but you're going to have to support the two guys you got there, the two centre-backs. You've got Nat Phillips, you've got all these guys that aren't centre-backs.
It's mad you
playing
say that
that.
as well, yeah.
He's got them too. You got all these injuries. You still got them pumping in 30 crosses a game,
good shout,
running out wide. So we talk about all these stuff, but
because you remember,
let's look at the managers
remember as
sometimes.
well, when
It's
things
like we're
were going-
immune to talk about Klopp or something.
Nah, I hear that because you remember when things were going well as well. He was doing the tactical tweaks. I remember there was a game against us last year where the fullbacks swap sides. and they were doing
Inverted
runs. And
inverted
I was like, these guys are so cocky.
he
Inverted
was
fullback.
flexing. I was like, he's at the point where his system is working so nice. He's like, in a Big 6 game, I'ma just experiment. I said, nah. So now when things are going rough, all of a sudden, when you need that little bit of discipline, that's a good shout, actually. I think tactically, you need that kind of...
Another thing, everyone's turned Thiago into a meme. Why is Thiago, who last season, whatever you want to say about him, in his number 6 role, was the best number 6 in the world. Yeah? He's in the Europa team he's in the Europe team of the year and stuff.
And
why am I seeing Thiago being one of the people that are initiating the press for Liverpool? He's not playing Thiago in the right role, and now Thiago's turned into a meme and a joke, man. But he's not even playing Thiago where Thiago wants to play. But everyone is going to look at Thiago, Carragher, and all these men are going to say Thiago is defensively liability. But no, he's not even getting played in his right role. Yeah. We know Thiago likes to get the ball, number 6, dictate the game, move it on. I'm seeing him having to initiate the press. He's playing ahead of guys. That it's not his role.
Yeah.
So at the same time, we're going to talk about Thiago. We got to look at the manager at the same time. But as I said, they've got their excuse made. Klopp if I'm a Liverpool fan and my manager's coming out and saying, "Oh, you know, Pep even knows if it was a normal season, we won't be 6." Allow it, bruv. It's not. They don't care. Because last season, City were chilling 25 points behind you. And what were their players saying? Sterling, we're gonna come
we're
and
gonna come.
we're
KDB,
coming back.
We're gonna come.
Not all these excuses that these men are giving.
The season,
yeah,
but during the season, they were licking their wounds.
Dude, Pep was taking his L's. I didn't hear Pep say nothing like, "Yeah, you know what? Yeah, excuse this. We don't have Laporte. You know, we don't." No, he didn't. Liverpool have so many excuses and they're just running. And no one wants to look at maybe Klopp has to do some things wrong, is doing some things wrong. Thiago playing offensive. The fullbacks still flying forward and getting toasted every single week. Like, for me, it's like we've got to a position where you're not allowed to speak about Klopp. I don't
simplify
care.
it as well.
Was getting slapped head left, right, and centre last season. He's done 20 times more things than Klopp has done in his career. But all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you can't talk about Klopp.
Come on, man.
Liverpool not scoring. Liverpool
so
not
what? We
scoring.
can question Pep, but no one's allowed to question.
Of course,
Klopp.
you can question Klopp.
Liverpool not
He
scoring.
wishes he could
Like
be
there's
Pep.
so many things that said, but Liverpool are not scoring goals.
He wishes.
Yo,
Do you know-
burn it a little bit more. Why?
And that in itself is major because for so long it was like, Mane and Saleh, you know, this is our front three score the most goals. They're not scoring goals.
Mane has less goal contributions.
But this
than
is where we
Harvey
have to
Barnes.
look at also, I was going to say, like, as much as we love...
And
let's look at
Werner.
the individuals, though. Mane and Salah, are they actually stepping up and doing what they're supposed to do this season? Which is why Salah's got goals, yeah, but for me,
He
it's
went
like
6
Mane.
games without a goal.
Like, last year and the year before, we was being heralded as like one of the best players in the world. It's like you can't go from that to all of a sudden falling off the face of the earth. And it's even when you're not scoring, affecting the game.
Sonny as well. Still,
it's the influence for me that's
Sonny
missing as well.
Still.
Can I ask a question?
Go on.
Do you think Mane is like N'Golo Kante, where they got this such nice guy image? People are so scared to criticize.
There's a degree to that.
Salah's the villain.
Mane's
the hero.
No, I was about to say Salah's painted.
Salah's the villain.
As
the Christmas
the
villain.
bad. Exactly. Anything that happens, he's painted as.
Better watch him, brother. Paul, you too, brother.
Hey, they're saying that he was eating pork as well. He had pigs in a blanket. Apparently, he had pigs in a blanket on the meal, on the menu.
listen,
But now,
Salah is painted out to be like the bad boy, the selfish one, the one that thing. But I've seen both of them do. Remember we had the joke when we were saying that it's like these men are intentionally not passing each other because they want to win African Player of the Year. Like,
that was funny. The first year, I remember that. That was when we started.
Why are they doing this? Like, man, them are deliberately. So I feel like it falls on both of them. But you know what? Let's see what Liverpool can do.
Has that chemistry been there this year?
Between them two.
The chemistry in the whole team. The chemistry in the whole team hasn't been there.
They're two individuals, and with what you're saying, like, bro, 17. If you look at when. I've noticed this for a long time. 17-18, when Salah came to the Premier League and scored 44 goals, Mane was beating, man, for fun. He was like a proper winger. Like, I was like, Mane is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then the next season came. It's like Mane thought, Salah's got too much of the
goals.
clout. I need some goals. All of a sudden, he started doing this little kind of poaching
Arsenal
thing.
where you start the season,
Yeah, then the season after that, he got the goal. Like, you started seeing moments where the selfishness started kicking in between them. I'm not going to lie. I personally saw the selfishness in Mane first. Then Salah took it way too far. Sometimes he just it was
Man
getting
City took it
ridiculous.
personal.
I think
But
because
then-
Salah
but then-
almost began
do you
to
know
believe
when-
he could chase a
do you
Ballon
know-
d'Or.
Do you know when it? Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But do you know when it turned on Mane? I mean, on Salah, when this thing came, when Mane got subbed, I think against Aston Villa, and he was pointing like, "Why is he
Yeah,
not passing
that-
to him?"
yeah.
From that moment,
Yeah.
Salah became the villain, bro.
Mm.
He done that, bro. Mane done that. Bro.
Someone's got to be the
Mane
bad
done
guy.
that. So it's like, I just think, but it's like we talk about Obar and all these guys. It's easy to say they're off form. I get Mane and these men have credit in the bank, but he's not.
Listen,
performing.
two things can
This
coexist.
season
He's
he's
not
definitely
performing.
Two things can
That's
coexist.
got nothing to do with Van Dijk.
Mm-hmm.
That's got nothing to do with Hendo or whoever's injured.
Mm.
You're just not performing at the level that you once were.
And realistically, once you set levels for yourself, that's it. Like, if we're calling Mane, people calling Mane like Neymar level and everything. Therefore, there's a certain expectation that is upon you that you then have to.
Bro,
do.
you see Sterling.
You man are
Oh,
childish.
I just-
You man are childish.
I just clocked why you man is.
You man are childish.
We are watching.
You're dumb,
There's an imposter in the room.
You figured me out. You can't be wearing hiding.
Like, you see with what you're saying, Raheem Sterling at the start of the season was having a bad season, and
Is he on 18 goals?
now
What
I don't know what he's. No, I think he's got 12. He's got 12.
Nah, he hasn't got that many
18.
goals.
Nah,
already.
he's
No
got-
He's
way.
on something mad though. He's on like a lot of goals,
Yeah,
and he's
12
paying.
goals.
He's
But the thing is,
he's
it's
restoring.
him,
No, but
it's,
yeah,
it's
Sterling's
the influence
returning.
in the game is still there for him. That's my difference with Sterling. I think he was still affecting it. Even KDB at the start of the season, where the stats weren't going, I still felt like he was City's main creator. For Mane, I feel like that's what's missing this year.
Yeah, but it's just like what I'm trying to say is that it was easy to say, "Oh, Sterling's off form," blah blah blah. Sterling has credit in the bank, but it was easy to still go. And I just don't get why there's kind of like this hesitance to not mention Mane. I just don't get it. But it is
He's
what
the
it is,
brother,
innit?
man. He's the
It is
brother.
what it is.
Oh man, let's touch on some stuff we saw midweek. Obviously, the new gen were doing their thing. Mbappe hat trick on Messi's head. Haaland
Smoky
brace. Then if you take even further, Haaland again on the weekend. I don't want to draw it in, but Sancho was doing his thing. He's now the youngest player to reach 35 goals in Bundesliga history.
Remember his blip start of the year? People,
Boy,
wanted
people
to write
were trying to
him
count them out.
He was just didn't want. He just at that point was just going through the motions.
His head,
It
his
was-
head. He just needed
was
to
in it.
get back into the thing. But
off. That's what United
when
do,
we
like,
look at this sort of generation,
That's what happens when a big club wants you.
Bro.
Well, he
you know
gets
what I mean?
scared.
Get in the head.
You're
you know?
done.
Red Devils, the shaitan gets in your ear.
yo, man, that's so
Shut up.
fun. In terms of, I call it the YouTube generation because these men probably grew up watching like clips and
Comps.
stuff. Exactly.
Comps FC.
Like when we look at that generation, why is that generation so ahead of that generation that just skipped now? One and two, with this sort of Mbappe and Haaland sort of coming, like, is that going to be the staple for the years to come now of them two, or is it just that there's so many guys within that age group that could potentially do stuff?
Good question. I don't know. You know, I feel like I feel like this generation, that are coming up now, as you mentioned, you said YouTube or whatever. I'm not saying the reason why they're this is because they watch YouTube or nothing, but I think the coaching as well at a younger level now is, well, when I speak to coaching and stuff, they focus so much more on. There is that in England. There's that obsession kind of with the
Technical
athleticism, but it's kind of still there are phases where they are focusing a lot on the technical ability. And if you think about the generation that we have just lived in, who were the dominant nation? Spain.
Spain, yeah.
It's not a surprise that when I was coaching, they were making us do things like, this is what they did in Spain, this is what they do. And I'm not saying Spain are the reason why Mbappe is this good. I'm not saying that all, but you're starting to see technical ability
It has a knock-on effect.
yeah, like we had this generation of these guys that come through that it's like everyone's athleticism. I just think now it's going more towards, you've got to be a baller, bro. You've got to have technical ability. And I think that comes from Spain being the blueprint. There's always phases where people copy the most dominant nations. And I think this is
Do you know what I feel part of
for
it as
this
well? I
new
feel
gen.
like maybe that generation that was kind of skipped, like this whole sense of expression was sort of like the youngsters now, like this YouTube generation, like there's so much expression in the way they play. Like it's like, and it's not like they're trying to be like over flamboyant when they're on the ball and everything, but it's like, oh, you don't look like a robot. Whereas this kind of what we're seeing now, we've said it, we've seen this robot era where people just run, cut in, bang, or a straight line, or if you're fast, you're going to go right back. It's been very sort of black and white. Whereas like you look at the way a lot of these youngsters play, there is a lot more expression there. Maybe that's why it's more easy on the eye. Maybe that's why we enjoy it more. Maybe that's why it reminds us of how Messi and some of these other guys that we've seen before were that they were like, oh, you know what? That's actually beautiful football we're seeing. I feel like in this moment now, or maybe a bit before, football became very like methodical and mechanic.
Is it also though that these young players now are given opportunities more? Because
Facts.
I feel like maybe like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you had to be like the special talent coming out of the academy. And you had to be spoken about for 5 years before you'd get maybe a debut this season. The next year you might get. But now it's like, if you're 17 and you're making any noise in the under 18s, you're coming up and you're getting that opportunity. And then it's like more players are also willing to move to get that opportunity as well. So Sancho, for example, Haaland, for example, you look at him, everyone just thinks, oh, it's a straight route. Nah, he went Salzburg. He went, now he's to Dortmund. Like he's at 18, 19, he's doing these moves. He's moved 2-3 times just to get that opportunity. So it's like these youngsters, I feel like now know the opportunities are there for them, and if they're good enough, they'll take them. Do you know what I mean?
The game is
the thing is, we
younger.
always say the cream rises to the top, and that's what we're seeing now. I feel like with Haaland and Mbappe, it's the creme de la creme almost.
Yeah, the game is moving younger. Management is moving younger. The game is a fact. What you're saying is a fact. The game is moving younger, and I can only co-sign that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that is the truth. The game
It's
is
like
moving
the
younger.
average age of most teams now is like under
Well,
25.
AC Milan's
I think,
team,
under
we were talking
23,
about time, their average age is 25. And that's only driven up by like Zlatan and Mandzukic and everything. All of their
But that
players
similarly goes back to that Spain thing that you said, because they brought through a generation of
all
like
at the same time, though. All at
and
the
that's
same time.
almost like seen as the thing now to bring through a batch of like 23, 24-year-olds. They'll be together for 4 or 5 years. That's kind of their. This Liverpool team we were just talking about, they all came in when they were 24, 25. Now they're all 29s.
Think about how old these guys are. These guys, we're talking about guys that are born in the 2000s, yeah? So you really get into academies when you were 8, 9.
Yeah.
When they were 8, Spain had just won the Euros. When they were 10, Spain had just won the World Cup. When they were 12, Spain had just won the
So to
Euros
them, that's
again.
just everyday ball.
This is
It's
who
normal.
they grew up.
It's
We've
normal.
seen the physical and the brute. To them, that is.
Exactly.
They don't know that.
Yeah.
Exactly,
All they
and
know
the
is technical.
coaching became a thing where what I'm trying to say, the coaching became a thing. I'm mainly maybe attributing it to the English lot. I don't know what goes
don't know
on
what's
in
going on,
France and
but
stuff.
I-
but
we
I
can talk
know
about
in
what
the
we see.
English lot, these guys grew up watching Iniesta and all these guys as the goats of the game, Messi, whatever. Tiki taka, all that. Everything started moving. Coaching started moving towards technical ability. How good are you technically? And I think that's what we're seeing with these lot. That's what I think.
Do you know what then makes this whole point interesting? Again, we've spoken about it before when I think we mentioned Havertz and some of these signings and everything. Because there was such a gulf of talent missing, and there's a lot coming through now, and you want to be there first. A lot of these guys are going to be moving for crazy fees, or we're going to see sort of things like with the Haaland thing. Haaland, I think he always knew that Dortmund was sort of like a stepping stone to where he wanted to get to. 75 mil clause there. Dortmund's replacement is probably what's my man's name? Sociedad.
The Alexander brother.
Yeah. They said, you know what, go and do your
Isak.
thing. We'll get you. I'm not
yeah.
saying he's anywhere near the level, but it's like, you got potential. We'll bring you back for this much. We're going to see a lot more sort of like wheeler dealer deals, and a lot of players moving for big fees, because it's like, if I don't tap into you now,
Get rid of Sancho, bring in Cho.
it's but we're gonna see a lot of that. The thing is, we're gonna see a lot of these sort of things now, because look at Sancho and Haaland now. That partnership they formed. I know you said 1-2 punch
Kane and Son.
Kane and Son.
Baby
Look
Kane
at what
and Son.
look at what these guys are doing at the moment. If I'm Madrid,
They're doing the Champions League though.
no, but if I'm Madrid, what's stopping me from going? You know
team
what?
effort.
I like used to. You know what, Dortmund? How about we give 200 mil here? We'll take them off you. Like, we're gonna see a lot more of these things happening.
It's also, bro, it's just this generation. Something about them. They're just more fearless.
Yeah,
they're just more
expression.
They're just more. And I don't know if that's got anything to do with how life is in society,
That's
or
society,
whatever.
I was gonna say, in
Society
general,
is
yeah.
the way these kids are nowadays are a lot just
Brazen.
They're just a lot more. The younger generation are just a lot more.
conferences, like, it's
Exactly.
a minor thing, but even when we're looking at the press conferences now, we're looking at the way man are talking, we're looking at I saw him
Madison,
as like, alright, cool, I had to go. I'm like, there's something definitely different with this crop, which is good, because they've looked at what was before them and said, you know what, okay, we like that, we don't like that, we're going to move in this direction. I don't feel like we're going to see the heights of what we saw with Messi and Ronaldo, because what we have to realize is that was special. And we were fortunate to see that from the beginning to what it's looking at the end. Some people may have seen half of it. We saw all of that in its entirety. I don't think we're going to see that again. That is once in a lifetime
But
stuff.
I mean, with the numbers,
Messi and Ronaldo.
with the numbers that
the
Mbappe
passing the baton is happening
Yeah,
right
the
now,
passing-
baby.
yeah,
100%.
numbers-
But I said, I don't think
baton is being handed over.
Maybe it might not be the same. We don't know. Messi,
Bro.
listen, Messi's still a different talent completely to these guys.
Right now.
No, as in like
All-
natural talent. They can't see him with a telescope. But at the same time, yeah,
Brother.
like the thing is, but with them, in terms of you see what it is about these two, yeah? Sancho is ridiculous technically in final ball and all that stuff, but Haaland and Mbappe have the perfect blend of being freak athletes and technically ability.
Yeah.
They are freaks of nature.
Bruv,
Mbappe can go from
people
0
try
to
say he's
100
a
in 2
pace
seconds.
merchant. You see the little footwork in the box.
Who?
Against
Haaland?
Mbappe.
Oh yeah.
he's
People
not.
always say like, oh, he's just a run and pace.
It's lazy analysis.
I
It's
get
lazy
that, but
analysis.
it's like
When
that thing.
They're
They're
just-
freaks of nature,
Bro.
They've got that.
they've
That
got
X
ability.
factor.
Yeah,
the
bro.
X factor that you talk about.
Yeah,
That's
fam.
it. Bro.
That's what it is. That's the thing about them two, and that's why I think they're gonna lead the generation. Like, there's all these people, but these two are physical freaks and technically silly. So it's
You
just
said it at the end of your "Don't Shoot the Messenger." Who you picking?
I'm going with Mbappe. You know, I'm going with Mbappe. I just think, something about this guy, like he's got the arrogance, like he's already got his own celebration. He's the FIFA cover.
See what he said to Jordi Alba?
Yeah, I'm gonna
He was on the street, she'd be dead. Yo, I said, hey, this kid's headed right to the top.
Bro, I just think he's just got something which is special. I just think he's gonna be Nike.
The
Like,
face.
he's gonna be the face of
Yeah.
Nike. He's gonna. That I wasn't fortunate
They're
enough.
both
Yeah,
Nike as well.
I wasn't fortunate enough to see the start of R9. Yeah, but I've heard of what it was like, and I think this is the guy that's like your.
Well, they've painted it to be with the World Cup, with the World Cup thing, with the posters and everything. They did exactly the
360
same
did
run.
a great post about the business side of things. Nike were happy to let Neymar go to make Mbappe the
star
face
boy,
of,
yeah.
the face of it. So they were happy to let him go to think just the same way R9 had the mercurials and stuff like that. Eventually we're going to have things like Mbappe's own personal boots, and I just think he's just primed to just be something absolutely just something else.
You have to
Mbappe
pick
for
one
me.
of the two. Who's going to be the greater one that you're like that?
The greater one.
Yeah.
I feel like Mbappe will do more. I feel like Mbappe
It's so hard because Haaland is
I-
absolutely
I've said that
ridiculous.
to you
Bro.
before. Is I think Mbappe's got more talent and like more ability than him, but I think Haaland's got a better personality than him. I see Haaland
no.
as a killer.
He's just the killer.
Haaland,
I
things
think
you see,
Haaland-
Haaland
People say
is
this, but Mbappe
no. But here's the
basically
thing.
averages
I
the
think-
same amount of
I
goals.
think
Like,
his number of goals he will score
will be more. But that's what I said. That's what I asked you.
You reckon he'll score more goals than
I
Mbappe?
think, yeah,
Yeah,
I think
100%.
Haaland is
He's
gonna
a
be
killer.
one of- Haaland's
He's a
gonna be one of
madman.
these guys when you look at like, these numbers are freaky. Like appearance and
Do you know how I break it
goals
down? You know,
are
you
neck
know
and
how
neck.
you know how people talk about Lewandowski in terms of this guy just turns up to score goals. I feel like Haaland's career trajectory is going to be
Yes.
that. He's
It's
going to
a
turn
good
up.
example,
He's just
yeah.
turn up.
Stayed in the
But
Bundesliga his whole
when you're
career.
looking at Mbappe, you're looking at
Bundesliga
someone-
tax.
You're looking a bit more.
Bundesliga tax.
Guys, so dumb.
Haaland uses the Bundesliga as a stepping stone. Lewandowski stays there his whole career.
But you both for me. You're the childish.
Chaz.
I think with Mbappe, I think he's somebody that will like run a game, but he's not hungry to score every single game.
I think he
No.
is.
No,
I
he
think
is.
I don't think
He
was-
is.
No.
He
Don't
is.
forget. Do you know what you man are forgetting?
Jesus. Nah.
No. I know what you're
Mbappe's
saying, but
savage.
do you know what you lot are forgetting? Do you know who his idol is, bro?
Henri.
No, it's not Henri. It's
Ronaldo.
Cristiano.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that's it.
bro.
Yeah.
He wants.
CR.
He's
That is-
relentless.
that's where I
people
feel
don't
like-
realize. I think Mbappe, because we've seen lately him missing kind of glaring chances. People have started to think he's
that
not.
happens.
Don't forget,
But
at
the biggest-
17 years old, he was going to the Champions League and
Slapping up,
smashing.
man.
Ah,
But do you know what's so funny? And you know, because we have to go into champion thing. What I feel is quite interesting is you see
Haaland's dumb.
you see how
It's
Mbappe
crazy.
plays, yeah.
Argentina.
Like we know how Haaland's career is going to go. He's going to be a gunman centre forward. With Mbappe, there's going to be an evolution of the way he plays at some point. Do you get where I'm coming from? Haaland, we can already see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to score like every single type of goal. But what's so sick about him as well is he's not this kind of people kind of be like, oh, is this power? Have you seen the way this guy moves? Have you seen his finishes? He's actually mental. That
Do you know what I call him? I think he's like a very refined version. He's a refined version of Lukaku. That's how I see him. He's a refined. He's got the better touch, maybe a bit more explosive, killer
I
finisher.
don't know about explosive, but he's got better movement.
Yeah, like I just think he's the better movement, the killer finish. I
Do you know
think
what?
if
He's
Lukaku,
got a subtlety.
If,
He's
if
got a subtlety
Lukaku was
about him.
refined, like all of his flaws were
Say it.
nicely done,
Say it.
then he'll be what? What are you trying to say? Listen, we don't do that on this show. You know what I mean? You don't do that on this show. But yeah,
Lukaku is improving massively.
that's how I see
Bro,
it.
Listen.
killer.
Perfect segue. Champs and duds of the week. My champ, I had a few nominees, but the one I was actually going to give it to was Lukaku for the performance, for what it means to Inter Milan, and just, you know, there's just a certain like arrogance you need sometimes. Like to do that, obviously it's the derby game, but to do that and to scream "fuck you, homie,"
Yo,
and
He said-
Dior,
What did he say in his
Dior,
language?
he basically said, "I'm the man." He said,
Oh,
"I'm,
son.
like,
I
I
like
am
what
the
they got
man."
going on over there.
He's like,
still.
"I am the man."
That's
like,
lit. Still, it's lit.
and his partnership with Laturo as well, like, especially with everything that happened with Inter and the Champions League and everything, this means so much. And he's taken onus of, you know what, if we're gonna go to this title, I'm gonna carry everyone on my back if I have to. So he is probably my champ of the week. And there was loads of nominees, and there was Everton, there was who else did I have there? I had a couple of nominees still, but that's my champ still.
How's
Who's your
Mbappe
champ?
not a nominee for you?
No, that's what I'm saying. Mbappe was nominee,
Right.
Haaland was a nominee.
Yeah.
Like I had bare nominees, but me personally, like Lukaku.
I would say, yeah, Mbappe for the hat trick. I before that game, I had a feeling it was going to be one of them nights where you're like,
Not announced, but reaffirmed.
but an iconic night, bro.
Reaffirmed.
He literally set the tempo in the bar, and it was one of those like the fact that Messi was in that game as well, and it was like the golf.
Messi's head's been
Snap
slapped so
that
many
shit.
times. I feel bad for saying that, but Messi's head's been slapped a few times on the stages like this
Cause
now.
literally by Robertson one time.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget that. But the other one I would add in as well is West Ham. I'll
Yep.
give him credit. Going top four, kind of doing what they're doing, trudging along.
Yeah.
Great.
Mine, Mbappe, of course. Like that should be universal. Like what he did there, man, is ridiculous. Also, who else has been a champ? I think I kind of just like mirror what you guys are saying in terms of.
I
for the
put
champs,
Harvey
definitely.
Barnes here as well, just because, not because of like his ability thing, just in terms of like, this is someone that was rubbed out. He was not rubbed out, but he was playing like championship loan and everything. He came to this team and everyone was like, "Oh, you're all right." But if you look at how Leicester performing, he's been a key part of this. And it's like, you know what? Fair play. People are still waiting for him to run out. People are still waiting for this run to end. People are still like, "Oh, but you're not that sick." He's literally playing himself into somewhat of contention, which in that sentence alone is crazy. The fact that he's playing himself into contention for this squad is crazy in itself.
He shouldn't go though.
Yeah, for England.
He
so
shouldn't
yeah,
go though.
he shouldn't. But the fact that he's playing himself into contention, I feel
Let me
like
tell
with
you
all of the
England's
talent
wide,
and
man.
everything, go on.
Rashford, is he replacing Rashford? Yeah, for me, you got to be deluded.
You
to
got
think
Rashford,
so.
Sancho.
Sterling, Foden's being taken as apparently might be a right wing option. Jack Grealish. You're struggling, man. These are 5 players that are all playing very, very well at the moment. Harvey Barnes, maybe if there's an emergency injury, then he's washed the thoughts of Cho and Greenwood probably like.
He's
Even
probably higher
Saka,
up the
even
rack,
Saka,
aren't
but
you?
I think he's going to choose him as a left back. But
Yeah.
that thoughts of Cho and thingy, I think gone. Take your best players, man. Harvey Barnes ain't better than them. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
Duds.
Yeah.
Duds. I've got Koeman, Barcelona, Liverpool,
That's gonna
Spurs.
be my dad, Ronald Koeman, bruv.
He's
Slapped up like that in the Champions League today. What drew against Cadiz? What is it,
1-1.
bro? This guy
he's
is having
taken
a
Barcelona
mare.
to hell.
I don't.
and
I
the
think
thing is,
Barcelona's a doomed job.
No, it's a doomed job.
But
But
he's
he
taken
was,
them to hell.
Bro, we were saying it
They're
before
already
he got
in
the
hell.
job. The guy's
They
a
lost 8-2.
disaster.
They're already in hell.
Yeah,
No. But he's taken them to like,
brother.
I don't know, man.
is there a floor in hell? He's
I
taking
don't
them
know,
there.
man. I
The
feel
basement.
I feel
No,
like
I
that
think-
job
I-
is doomed, man.
I
Who-
think-
they only took
For
him
me,
because
he
no
was
one else
never-
probably wanted that
He was
job.
never gonna take Barca to. where
And
they
do you remember
need
the
to
whole
be.
Suarez
It's a
thing
Lampard
as well? The whole Suarez thing as well. The way he's
Sorry,
handled a
Jimmy,
lot.
One of you go.
The Suarez thing, the way he's handled a lot of the situation going there, he's actually made like things a little bit more edgy than they needed to be.
I don't think
in my
anything
opinion.
he's doing is really him. I think he's just there. I honestly don't even think they have any plans for him to be the future manager. I think
No, I
he's
don't feel
there
that either.
just to kind of hold down the fort while we think about what the hell we're going to do as a football
listen.
club. And he's just going to take some licks. It's his dream job.
But that's
Nah,
the thing. It's dream
I
job
don't-
vibes, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I won't give
I
him
don't-
the stick.
That's
I,
even
honestly,
more. That's even more
No,
reason to
No,
say.
but you see, I think
Kind
you
of
see,
vibe,
with
kind of
Man,
vibe
you
is
see
that?
with the way Man United hired
Oh, yeah,
Oli.
man,
No,
no.
that is like Man United planning our life for Oli.
Yeah.
I don't think Barcelona give 2 craps about
No,
Cope. I think he's
of
just
course
there
not.
just to
But
be like,
like you can still look at something that's going on and be like, listen, we can't.
so you're just staining your former player's legacy for nothing.
What for
There's
players?
one, there's that, there's two.
That
It's
man
basically
won you
saying,
your
oh,
first
because it's
European
a.
Oh yeah, I know, but hey.
For Bance, you know,
Yeah.
we just bring him in for 6 months,
Mm.
Like you
Yeah,
set
I
him
know.
up to
I
fail,
know all about
essentially,
him.
then is what
'cause
you're saying.
I've been working with the La Liga lately, so you know.
Oh, big time
so-
Charlie!
Oh, you
eh?
want chump of the week,
Just had a
yeah?
little chat- we just had a little chat
Balag
out
hype.
there, you know what I mean? He told me a little bit about Coman as well, you know what I mean?
So
So
dumb.
it's all cool,
Guy.
but
Say what you want, chump of the week for that.
Nah,
I'll give you
I
chump of
don't
the
need
week for
chump
that.
of the week. I
You
don't
ask
need
good,
chump of the week.
you ask good questions. So I'll give you chump of the week for that still.
Man's got nominated for.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna give
yeah.
him that. Oh yeah, I
I'll give you
forgot about it.
I'll give you
Yeah,
chump
nice
of the
one,
week.
bro.
I'll give you
Nice
chump
one.
of the week. I'll
Go
give you
on,
chump of the
doing
week for the
big things
program
as
as well
well.
still.
For what?
For the YouTube as well. The content was sick still.
What are you saying? We're giving it to each other.
Everyone
yeah?
get chump. We
Say
get chump of the
nine.
week. Best
Everyone
podcast in the
pat each
world.
other's
Say
back.
nine.
Best
Say, buddy,
podcast
buddy.
in the world.
New generation. New generation. Nah,
We
but
moving
dud,
too
we need to
cool
do
for that.
duds. We need to do duds. But my dud, I'm sorry, guys. You're not
Jose?
gonna like it. No, it's not Jose. I'm just gonna have to quickly go on just a little while. I just need to read out some stats for people. I just can't hold it in.
I know what he's doing.
I just can't hold it in.
Who's it? A boomerang?
Kante.
No. Hey, listen, I'm past that Kante thing. It's out in the open now. That's for everyone else to digest. Since 2018, it's just a few things. My dad will be, by the way, is Arteta. Yeah.
Oh.
Since 2018, Oli has lost 17 times in the Premier League as a manager. Arteta has lost 16 times in a just under a year. David Moyes was sacked in 2013-14 by Man United for losing 12 times. Arsenal have already lost 11 games. So David Moyes was sacked for that. Arsenal, David Moyes lost 11 in 34, sorry. 12 in 34. Arteta has lost 11 in 25 this season. Arsenal have lost more games in the league this season than they have won. At some point, listen, he's their worst manager ever. It's a fact. At some point, they've got to make a decision there, in my opinion. What's going to happen? For me, you're a dud. 11 losses, 10 wins.
But it's that same thing.
11
where
losses.
do
Can you take that in?
Arsenal to be? I expect Arsenal to be where they are.
You expect Arsenal to be
Yeah.
11?
I don't expect. No. Let's get
Maybe
this right.
not- maybe
we don't
not to
expect
the
that.
results
We don't
and the way
expect. We
things
don't
go.
expect
Man
that.
expect.
We don't expect that. We
Can
don't
you remember they
expect
sacked Unai Emery? He didn't do this. He didn't do this. It's the same team. Why are people saying this
Man
stuff?
said Koda. It's not
Bro,
right.
This is what I mean. Why are people saying this stuff? Like we expect this from Arsenal. Emery didn't do this. He didn't. He had the same players. They've got Partey in that now. They've got Tierney.
He's hardly playing.
But bro, like,
I hear what you're
Arteta
saying.
out.
This is gross
of course,
negligence.
am I the only one that cares for Arsenal's like? Bro, I'm getting annoyed and I'm not an Arsenal fan. It's annoying to see.
Hey, this team that they got
It's
now is
better.
better than Emery's team.
It's better.
So-
He's gotten the worst out of Aubameyang, right? He's gotten the worst out of Aubameyang. Emery actually had Aubameyang playing, by the way. Let's not forget that. Emery actually got to Europa League final. Yeah, let's not forget that. Emery, what did he finish? Sixth? Was it fifth? He finished sixth.
Six twice. I
So
think.
why are people telling me this is what you expect from Arsenal?
Listen,
Emery
Just
didn't do
declined
this.
and
Like, he
Everton
got
and
sacked
Villa-
for it.
let me
So why is
let
he
me
not-
summarize it
stepped
like
up.
really simply.
I just think
yeah.
it's Arteta's just
Lem-
a fashionable guy. and
Let
no
me
one wants to- I just
let me
so can't
summarize
see
it really
Yeah,
simply.
nice
Yeah.
jacket, bro.
Yeah.
They
Fake
kicked Emery to the curb.
He's heading
They
back
had
to
this whole
Convoy.
thing and whatnot.
Right, what I told you, man, from the day he got appointed, he was putting out the cones, and he got a job for putting out
And
the
then
cones.
the
bro.
situation where they're in now, it's like, you know what?
We all know he
who
was-
comes to manage Arsenal? Who?
Who comes to manage? Who comes to manage Arsenal? Chris Wilder.
Anyone but him.
Bro, literally, because I'm messing around with Chris Wilder, but like honestly,
Bring back Wenger.
are you telling me other managers would lose more games in the league?
They wouldn't. But I'm
one?
saying in terms of Arsenal's decisions to make, who?
Are you telling me
Even
Wenger
this
wouldn't
decision.
come back?
Who?
Wenger wouldn't come back on the
Wenger
short
doesn't
term?
need that
Wenger tried
stress,
to
man.
put a little SOS out there. He said if they ever need me,
Bro, I seen that. He said
listen,
if they ever need
can
me, I
Alex
will help
Ferguson
them.
say that, please?
I'm not even
need him.
like Wenger's becoming a bit like
No, he just likes to come watch
Wenger-
you drown.
Wenger's becoming a bit like Fabrizio, you know. He's just coming to just online to say
stuff.
I could have signed him back. Why is it everyone I could have signed?
Yeah,
when is your
yeah.
destiny gonna change? Why is it I could have?
Yeah.
If you signed everyone you want to sign, Arsenal wouldn't be in this mess now.
Yeah.
I could have signed Ronaldo. I could have signed
You
Mbappe.
turned mad
I could have signed
uncle
No, but it's annoying, bro. How many times are you gonna tell us next year?
Man puts on a fella cootie
fam,
jumper.
next time, next year, next year. I could have signed Ahmad. I could have signed
Yeah,
Sancho.
literally.
It's too much, man. I like it, man.
I just think Arsenal are in a position where, I know it's like, is it really gonna turn around? Listen, one thing that's really annoying me. I'm sorry, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm going off. I know it's the end of the show, but one thing that's really annoying me, yeah, is you've cut it. Oh, one thing that's really annoying me is what is this obsession with not accepting reality as it is? What is this obsession with everyone thinking rebuild? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Not everything's rebuild. Yeah,
Not
sometimes
everything is a rebuild.
Sometimes just call it a day and take
Everyone's season is next season, innit?
Yeah.
Everyone is improving next season. I just think it's getting ridiculous, man. Honestly, I just think it's getting ridiculous.
You need to edit this in.
Man, am I so dumb, bro? Man, am I just dumb, bro?
Yeah. That's what I just think. I just think there's an obsession. There's an obsession in this era that everybody is rebuilding. There's an obsession in this era that everybody's season is next year. I'm going to ask you a question. When are you guys? Do you think Spurs are going to improve
Next year.
When do you think Chelsea are going to improve?
We're improving now.
Are you?
We're trying to.
But when
That's
do you
the
think
plan.
you're gonna when are you guys gonna be back?
That's
Show
up.
up. Gonna be back.
Next season.
Hey, remember you
What's
saying
happening with us?
No,
Next
that's
season?
that energy. Yeah.
What was it?
Atletico.
Show up.
This is time.
Atletico.
This is time. Listen,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is time.
Time to shine.
Pre-season
That's what
show.
I'm saying.
Pre-season's happened. Let's go. Let's go.
Everyone's season is
Hey.
next season, innit?
You lot are dropping points. I like how we just brushed past that this week.
I know. I mentioned
in the race to Liverpool.
I mentioned it.
Say less.
I mentioned the Southampton thing.
When Kante's losing the ball 23 times?
Alright, yo, till next week.
Listen.